Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel for day 1732 of our daily content grind. So today was the Hasbro Fan Pulse stream, and as we always do, I like to give my thoughts and opinions on everything that was announced and revealed. And admittedly, a lot of this stuff we already covered because a lot of the press photos of these toys already dropped a few days ago. However, there are new tidbits, there's new in-hand photos, so we can glean a lot of new stuff from this as well. So what I'm doing is I'm just going through the screen caps that were taken at TFW 2005, and then there's one particular photo we need to look at that came afterwards, because it is extraordinarily relevant, and it has the most to talk about. So, we're going to just begin. Let's just scroll through, and we immediately start with the tailgate reveal. No real surprises here, other than Tailgate actually does keep the head tilting gimmick that started off with Wind Charger, which I actually didn't think about. Because like this head design itself, I kind of felt like this would have gotten away with just being like it's normal, like up and down. Like Wind Charger's head is specifically just a big block, so like getting like up and down motion out of his head, not exactly the most possible thing. But here I kind of thought, yeah, like you could get away with it here. I mean, it's Tailgate. It's G1 cartoon Tailgate, who really doesn't have anything to go by. You could have like had it his little whole box raise up or tilt back, but still they worked it in. Kind of neat. Again, my only issue with this toy is the fact that it does not come with any replacement for the magnetic effect accessory. So you are getting a little bit less for your money out of this toy than you did before. It's minor, but I think it counts. I think at the very least it should have been some little replacement piece just for the sake of like making sure it was even with the rest of the deluxe, the rest of the releases of this mold. The Fangry, did find out Mark was the one who did the head sculpt on the beast mode, so there was that, because apparently he likes his werewolves. But essentially this is, with slight like color tone alterations, I think. I'd have to have mine handy in order to tell myself, but this does just appear to be just like a rerun of the one that was in the multi-pack, which we kind of knew. So no real new things or surprises there. Blanker, which is confirmed, yeah, this is coming out as Blanker, pointing out the new toy accurate, or anime accurate head, take your pick, and no translucent plastic. Here's something that I completely missed, and me being me, you'd think I would catch this in the original photos that got revealed of this toy. Yeah, they've taken out all the translucent plastic. He is just completely opaque now. And, I love when that is an option. I love when that is a thing. I'm still not crazy about the toy itself. I would be more interested in, like, any potential retools or repaints they could get out of this. I'm of the mindset of, like, you could get some fun stuff out of this. Like, there's a lot of... If you could do the retooling to make this, like, Euro G1 boss, if you really wanted to, and it would have been a fun little homage. Would have been a fun new figure to throw at us. But it is what it is for now. So you get a second shot of that toy if you miss it the first time. And I do think this one looks better than the prior one that had the rebirth accurate head. I don't like that head as much. With like the one antenna going back. It's a little bit of an odd head design. This is nicer. I like this one a little bit better. Not enough to double up though. Yes, the mold's just not good enough to double up. It's missing some things to really feel like it has some the worth of the other wave. They did talk about Joyride. So apparently when they did Sure Shot, they actually had it as intended that if we arrange it so that these tail fins, the spoiler in the back, were on 5mm ports, then we could actually move those to the knees on a retool and make this accurate to Joyride. So that was the idea behind it. And if you were like me and kind of wondering why those were just kind of floating pieces on the original toy, that is the reason why. they had this retool in mind from the beginning, which it makes sense. You know, Target Masters and Power Masters don't have like a huge amount of demand behind them. This is like the first attempt at like a Power Master brand new figure. With the, you know, in the vein of like it has its own little mini figure to go with it. It did they did like point out like they like the giant engine block that it turns into. I'm not a fan of it myself. I think it looks a little bit silly. My hope was that the engine piece on this could be removed and placed directly onto the vehicle mode. And my idea behind that, the reason I thought that is because if you look at the artwork on the packaging, that's what it looks like it does. But apparently not. You can see from the toy itself, it does not have any kind of like 5mm piece where that could come off. So it's a little bit unfortunate. It's just a really big, silly looking engine. And it sounds like this is the direction they're going to go with for any future Power Masters. They did put it out there that they are looking for audience feedback about like, you know, are there Power Masters, you know, interest in them, or which ones would you want to do? For anyone who might be listening from Hasbro, Darkwing, Dreadwind. Darkwing and Dreadwind. If you could just like, I don't know, like, I was going to say Commander, but that seems like a little too much. I feel like if you 2-packed them as a leader class toy with 2 proper Power Master accessory figures and still had the interlocking jet mode, you'd have to throw in a little bit more to get up to a $60 price point. But you might actually get away with that. You might actually get away with like a dark or a Dreadwing 2-pack. I don't know. I want those two. I want those two as far as Power Masters go. They suggested like Power Master Optimus. You know we're gonna get another Power Master Optimus at some point. They are absolutely not leaving that one on. They're not leaving that one on the table at all. We basically know Commanders and Titans that are upcoming. I guarantee you at some point that's going to be a Commander class toy, a Power Master. We've seen things like the Armada Optimus that kind of like basically proves that that's the size class for things like that. If we move through a few others, so they did show off that they are rerunning Vortex. It was a last wave figure, so they wanted to make sure everyone had a chance to get it. From the toy shop, I do know I've had people asking, do you have the Vortex in stock? Because it was a little bit hard to get. So not a bad idea to just do a second run of that one. Again, it is one of those things that makes me think back to the promise of we're not doing package refreshes anymore. Well, here you go. Here you go. But they also showed off Swindle for the first time, and Swindle still looks good. Still very like chunky and you know, kind of fat for a Swindle. But here we get to see the backside of it too, where to give you some idea of how it transforms. It seems actually pretty involved for its size, so I am looking forward to it because, you know, I want my complete Combaticons. They do look decent. You know, like there's not a bad looking Swindle in the least. Just like a little bit of junk in the trunk that ends up as big stomper boots, but that's about it. Everything else on it looks pretty solid. And then they showed off Vector Prime as well. And then they actually did reference that, yeah, this is the Galaxy Force repaint. Interesting to me, they kept referring to this as like, oh, well, now all the 13 primes are complete. And I'm like, are you literally just ignoring the fact that this is a repaint and that you've already done this before? Are you just like pretending that this toy didn't previously exist? I am a little bit concerned about that is very shiny brown plastic that I see there. It reminds me of some problematic plastic colors we've had in the past, but we know Hasbro's a lot better at avoiding that now, so we'll see. It is a nice looking repaint of that Vector Prime. This is one of those where, like, I didn't pre-order this. I pre-ordered Swindle, Joyride, and and oh my god, why am I blanking? Tailgate. I pre-ordered those 3, and that is mostly just because it fills gaps in the collection. A lot of these other repaints, retools, and things just did not catch me. They are things that, like, if I see it on sale at some point, maybe I would pick it up. This one is one where if I went into a Target or a Walmart and I wanted to walk home with something and there was nothing else, nothing brand new, yeah, I wouldn't mind grabbing this. I don't dislike this mold as much as a lot of other people do. And I do think these colors look really, really good on it. So yeah, yeah, and I do like that they fully painted it. Like the chest, the cyber key, the back wing, like the wings, all of it is very nicely painted. Better painted than the American one. Better painted than the original American one from the Cybertron line. I do like this overall. I do like it overall. It's not a pre-order purchase, but it is definitely like, if I find it, I'll probably grab it. Kind of find. Now, we move into the leader stuff. They discuss the Mega Zarak. Again, no real surprises here. It's just a straight up repaint. I still think it's really cool that we're getting like previously exclusive stuff as brand new, fully modernized, articulated figures. This is a really cool. This is a really cool trick to pull. I am excited to see how this plays with like the Titan parts from Tidal Wave, because we really didn't get. There's no version of Tidal Wave that actually matches these colors. Obviously not something that they would have thought of back in the day, but we get to play around with it now, right? So this will be cool. I want to see the shots of that. And they discussed the Unicron Soldier, and we pretty much guessed where a lot of the inspiration for this came from. They did mention like the various avatars and things of Unicron from the past, like that's kind of what inspired this particular release. They did bring up the deluxe Unicron from Cybertron, and that one was also a big inspiration. We can see details that match that particular Unicron, especially like the front end of the tank, the details on the shoulders. All of that is taken from the Cybertron version. And then the chest and head are obviously taken from the Unicron cultist from the Marvel comics. These are weird. I still profess that this is just like, we needed some kind of Unicron on the shelves. It's been a long time. So, yeah. They did this because... we'll get to that. We'll get to that. I thought there was going to be like a slide of like, oh, well, here's the pre-order, and we could have seen the stock photo. This one was... This one they explained was like, we know that there is a demand for Primus and Unicron because we're doing Age of the Primes, the 13 Primes, and all that. So this is a way of like filling a gap for now and having some Unicron representation amongst all the primes, which is not a bad idea in and of itself. I think what was interesting is they specifically pointed out that they are not going to rerun the HasLab toy, that is never going to be available again. They want to stick to that, which is a fascinating thing to bring up. But they did mention that, yeah, like when we do another Unicron. So like they absolutely have other Unicron toys in mind, but they do flat out acknowledge it ain't going to be the HasLab, which is, it's just an interesting thing to state. It's an interesting thing to state. It does make me wonder what else I have cooked up, because they are right. Eventually we'll get a new Unicron. I mean, it's inevitable. The character's too popular, and it's, you know, obviously it's a trademark thing. They have to keep pumping the characters out if they want to keep trademarks, etc. So we'll get another Unicron. It's just a matter of how and when. But the fact that they're mentioning it, like specifically pointing it out, tells me they know. They know what it's going to be and when it's going to be. They're just not privy to share it with us right now. Still looks cool. Okay, now here's the big reveal of this one for me anyway. This is a Pulse exclusive Powerlinks Red Alert with not one, not two, but three, eight Minicons packed in all at once, which is a lot. So I think when they kept promising that they would be getting Minicons out, I think all of us kind of expected some big multi-pack situation. I don't think we considered that they would be packed in with a larger toy, however. So, to be real, I'm not huge on the Power Links Red Alert figure. I mean, I don't mind the color scheme all that much. You'll excuse me as my throat is trying very hard to go dry. I don't mind the color scheme that much. I do think the gray makes his robot parts a little bit dull. It does make the orange pop a little bit more, but like I feel like the robot mode parts need to be the popping. But it's not bad. It's an okay deco. It's an okay deco. What's wild to me is like the 8 Minicons. So this is when we can go over to this photo, which is a stock image of the entire thing in robot mode. So we're getting Long Arm, we're getting Swindle, we're getting Leader 1 and Sparkplug. We're getting a repaint of the We're getting a wind paint of the Wind Shear Minicon that came with the Shattered Glass release. Was it? Yeah, the Shattered Glass release for the Wheeljack mold. We're getting that proper color. They have to name it Hawk now because apparently we lost the name for that one. And then we're getting the Dark Saber team, which I guess I should have called it. Like I should have assumed that if they were doing a multi-pack of Minicons, they wouldn't just be all brand new molds. They would have to budget it somehow, and getting a repaint set out there, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. They had to rename one of these too. We lost Runway as a name apparently, so they had to call the new one Jackknife, which is not a name that makes any sense for a jet. But doesn't matter. They've been on record. You can name them whatever you want. They don't care. It's just what they have to put on the box. The set itself coming into $80, I really feel like the only reason they did it this way is because they wanted to get that Power Links Red Alert out there, but knew that it would die a death if they put it out at retail at any level. Because let's be honest, that Red Alert toy, despite being a good toy, has shelf warmed all over the place. Despite being first wave Age of the Primes, I can still go find that toy. It's not a problem. I know the Walmart I would go to right now in order to get a brand new copy if I wanted one. So to get this version out, they kind of had to because they got Power Links Hotshot out there, and this one goes right alongside it. Obviously the Power Links Starscream is out there, but it is an exclusive to Japan. That still makes absolutely no sense to me because I feel like that one would have sold a lot better for a multi-pack like this. But no, they were talking about like budget here, and like budget is probably another reason why this is a big $80 multi-pack for everything. Yeah, it just feels like a scheme to get that Power Links out because they knew that a multi-pack of Minicons would sell on its own. The reason that Red Alert is in there is just to get that Red Alert out because they know there's no other way it's going to sell. And I do think it's going to, I've already seen where it's dragging down the interest in this set, despite, being exactly what we were hoping for. Now, to the other point, they were talking about budget wise, like how they don't know how they managed this because they kept being told this is not budget conscious. We can't do this in budget. I'm going to tell you how they do it in budget. Look at all the gray across Sparkplug, Leader 1, Long Arm. It's all the same shade of gray. So there's a lot of gang molding going on here. And in particular on that, I will tell you this, looking at this toy, I'm going to guarantee you that entire Long Arm is all gang molded to the other ones. The black probably shared the black parts with Swindle. You can see where a lot of his robot and even the back panel on him is all the same gray plastic that's making up the gray for Sparkplug and Leader 1. And it's just painted over in black and blue. So that's how they budgeted in. Is like, I guarantee you all these figures are gang molded together. So at some point they'll probably put these out again in their Power Links colors. Hopefully, like, you get a proper retool of Sparkplug to get his Corona design. And they will likely, the next set will likely be like Swindle, like Swindle, Sparkplug, Leader 1, and Long Arm in their Power Links colors, and then the other 4 that they throw in are going to be brand new Minicons for whoever else they release. Because they did announce during this that they are doing Demolishor and Cyclonus. They specifically mentioned that they hadn't done those yet, and they know people are asking for them. So they did confirm we are getting those. And that's kind of exciting, not only because it's two very glaring holes in an Armada collection, like we're missing the episode 1 cast out, with those two missing, but also they're good designs that deserve a modern take, like Demolishor especially. Like Demolishor made for a really good, and for Armada, well-articulated toy back in the day. I would love to see a modern take on that vintage design. I'd also really like to see the repaints. Like, I need that toy to exist so I can get the appropriate repaints for it. For instance, like, I really, really like the Energon repaint of that toy. That Energon repaint is stupid expensive. So I have a shot. If that Demolishor comes out, that was an on-screen character, I have a shot at that toy now. I have a shot of that existing. So yeah, Armada stuff is looking pretty good. Like, we know we're getting the stuff that we wanted. We know that Minicons are here, and they did announce they're doing more Minicons after this. So this is just the first volley. Yeah, I'm assuming that probably a Power Links repaint of Demolisher or Cyclonus would include more. Or potentially if they do get a release of Starscream in the Thundercracker colors, I assume that might also be a way of getting them out. We'll see. We'll see. They have options. Real quick, they did announce that some stuff on Hasbro Pulse is on 40% sale. So 40% off for this really big Flame Toys Ultra Magnus. I know my friend Evander is probably losing his mind over that, because 40% off this is an enormous discount, but also it's still crazy expensive at like $360. I mean, Flame Toys does good work, and this is a really, really large figure. So if you're a whale, then you can whale for a little bit less right now. Okay, it's just a neat little discount thing they announced. See, they announced the normal stuff. We know the soundtrack is on the way. We know that it's coming back to theaters on Transformer Day, September 17th. We kind of all knew that already. And we get into San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, and this is where we get really, really fun stuff. Exclusive 1 comes in a cereal box. A cereal box that is so serious about it that, like, ingredient list is there, cutaway stuff to, like, fold up the box into something else is there. It's reusing the original G1 art, but it's a bowl of Energon cubes, which is hysterical. Get Optimus Prime and Autobot Jazz, Heroic Autobots inside. So, if you're wondering, the Jazz thing is because there is a pretty famous variant of the G1 Jazz toy that was only available through Cookie Crisp. So it's so there's a serial connection with Jazz. The packaging comes in a cereal bag. It's kind of amazing. It's a really, really funny way of going all in on it. I wish we had better photos of this, because this is a very weird release. So what you're getting in this package is the Legacy United G1 toy Optimus Prime in cartoon accurate colors with a brand new head. Got a brand new head on this toy. It's a vintage G1 trailer, like from the previous Optimus Prime reissue, with a massive logo tampograph all down the side. You're getting like all the vintage, you're getting all the accessories the original toy came with. You're getting roller, and then the big thing about this is you're getting this tiny little Jazz, which is like old school, well, not old school, but like it's legend scale. They called it like. They call it like super core class or whatever. This is more, it looks more along the lines of like probably like previous Legends class, like Legends back when it was in like the War for Cybertron trilogy level. No, that's Siege. That's Siege level. Let's go farther back. Prime Wars trilogy. So like the kind of like Legends class stuff that came out during like Combiner Wars and Titan's Return. It feels like it's about that size for a Jazz. But it's just this kind of squat, dumpy little Jazz. Seems like a very simplified version of the character, but it's kind of cute. It's kind of cute, right? It's wild that it's a completely new mold coming out as a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. They don't normally do that. So I'm hoping that there's some weird way that comes out separately, but being a con exclusive, probably not in the normal Jazz colors. That's the unfortunate. It's a really unique piece. And then there's this. We have a Gem and the Holograms collab with a brand new repaint of Blaster, which is amazing. Happy Pride, by the way. We stand trans rights Blaster in this house. It's beautifully garish for being a Gem and the Holograms reference. It is incredibly bright, like 90s girl, electric blue and neon pink. And yeah, like they went above and beyond on this one. Like the entire box is like hologram printed. The electric guitar, I don't know if I see it. Yeah, the electric guitar, which is already very 90s electric guitar, transforms into a keytar, which is a great little trick. I love that. The big thing to talk about with these is the other cassettes that it comes with. So, unfortunately, if you want more cassettes, especially for Blaster, you are stuck buying the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive set. Because this comes with Rosanna, Glit, and Sunder, who are all listed with the names KP. We know what KP stands for. They were very cheeky about what KP stands for. Oh my god, we have Kiss Player toys coming out in 2026. What? This is kind of wild. But it does play in. So if you know like the later lore of Kiss Players, that it's all just like a universe and time stream hopping pop group, this makes absolute sense to pack in with the Blaster that's all Gem and the Holograms inspired. I get it. I get it. I mean, it works. It makes sense. It's ridiculous, but you know, that's Gem for you. And I believe that is the entirety of the live stream. I was kind of expecting this to just kind of be like run of the mill, like, oh, well, they already dropped everything good. But no, we had some really fun stuff to talk about. There's some really weird things coming out, and hopefully we can get our hands on the SDCC exclusive stuff. Sometimes that comes to Pulse after the show, but you have to be really quick. So probably only Pulse members are going to be able to get that. Otherwise, hope you got a friend going to SDCC who can mule a few things for you. But the rest of the stuff looks fun too in its own way, and I'm glad to get the beyond. This is why we talk this, even though if they do the like announcement images in advance, it's the behind the scenes stuff that I'm interested in. You know, finding out they're doing more Armada characters, more mini cons. That's the kind of stuff I watch these for, even if I think I know what's coming out in them. But that is my recap. Those are my thoughts. Let me know in the comment section below which release you are looking forward to the most. Yeah, and that's your assignment for the day. So with that, I will bid you adieu. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time. Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.